How's it going, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, and I am super excited to have this gentleman to my right sit next to me, incredible Jonathan Barber. Man, I'm a
pleasure, man.
A huge fan of your drumming. I got turned on to you not that long ago, so your drumming is a little bit new to me. Past couple of years, not brand new, but man, you're a real inspiration as a player. So thank you for coming all this way and hanging out.
I'm honored.
And playing drums. We're going to talk about the Evans Hybrid Sensory Percussion drum system, powered by Sunhouse, by the way, and it's an awesome hybrid drum system that you know how to play this stuff well. Sounds great. So talk to me about what this drum system means to you, because I know you've had a long history with sensory percussion, from the old version of this now to the new version. What do you think of it all? How's it changed your playing?
For me, it's walking to a whole other universe that's familiar and unfamiliar. You know, playing an acoustic instrument, you get that sensibility by the sensors being on the drum and having sound, but just the different ranges and textures that you can pull from it, it's mind-boggling. So I feel like I'm constantly scratching the surface, but it allows my imagination and my creativity to really flow and go. And one thing about Sunhouse is they're constantly updating their kits. So, you know, when I first started working with them, they had amazing sounds, and even to the present day, they're constantly just transforming sound design.
Right.
And I feel like I can grow with them, and it really meets the drummer where they are in terms of the ability to play the drum and to play the software and how it's used in different contexts and different formats. So it's just amazing. And
you really start composing with these things, because the drums all of a sudden turn into melodic instruments as well.
Correct.
It's not just drum sounds you get out of this, you get all kinds of things.
Yeah, one thing that I love queuing up with different kits is chords.
Right.
And, you know, I kind of consider myself a frustrated piano player. You know, I play a little bit, I can compose at the piano, but, you know, just having these chords queued up and I can kind of manipulate them in such a way with rhythm and different notes and having this call and response and building tension, you know, it makes me really feel like a orchestral player and a composer while, you know, feeling like a drummer.
Sure. And the fact that the box has MIDI as well.
Yes.
You connect it to synths and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
You can even go hog wild with all kinds of other sounds as well.
Correct, yeah.
So the sound palette could be really endless.
Definitely.
With this whole thing. Very cool. How big is the difference between the new box, the new sensors, the new sounds, compared to the old version? Is it a huge, wide difference?
I would say so. With this version, it gives you everything that you need besides a computer. It comes with 3 sensors and cables and Evans design and interface. And you even get drumsticks. So, you know.
Which is a nice touch.
Yeah, you're definitely prepared. And so, and it's definitely user-friendly. The moment you log in and register the software, you go through an easy process of how to train the drum and making sure that each piece is properly, you know, put on the drum. And so I think that alone just makes a user feel comfortable and also guided.
Sure.
So, you know, it's definitely a notch up from before.
I could tell you from experience, too. I was blessed enough to get sent a version of this before we got together to play around with it. And it is super simple to set up. You put the sensors on, put the little metal dot underneath it, and just start going.
Right.
It really takes no time at all to start making music with this system.
Correct, yeah.
Now, do you have some favorite preset kits that come in here?
I do.
Or are you like always experimenting with other ones?
Yeah, I'm always experimenting, but you know, I have a little folder of my faves, and again, I like chords, and the cool thing is, you know, you can cue them from different parts of the drum. There's one kit it's played on the bass drum, the chords and how it moves, and one kit is played on the rim of the drum or the floor tom, and so it allows me to come up with different, you know, patterns and different stickings. So I still feel like I'm drumming, but yet I'm in this world of composition, and I also feel like a chordal player.
Sure.
You know, so those are kind of like the kind of sensibilities that I gravitate towards with the
Sure.
sounds.
And I was noticing you're playing at our sales meeting today and watching you here in the studio. You don't have to play very hard to get
Correct.
a lot of life out of this. You can be
Right.
really deft and nuanced with your playing.
Yes.
And get so much sound out of these things.
Yeah, I mean, the music that I generally play kind of calls for a lot of dynamics.
Right.
And that's one thing that I gravitated the most with this this software and this instrument, because with other products that's on the market, you can just hit it and that's just the principal sound and that's it. It doesn't really deal with velocity. But this drum not only deals with velocity but also with pitch, so you can combine pitch with velocity. So if I'm doing a crescendo roll, it's going to capture that with electronic sound. So it's just kind of like, it's all these different dimensions and layers that, you just experience.
Right. And this particular kit, I don't know if you set up like this a lot. I've seen it sort of like this on your videos, but what's cool about this is that this really is a hybrid kit. You have a snare with a proper plastic head, plastic head on the EMAD head on your kick drum, with the sensors, and then you have mesh heads on the two toms.
Yes.
And then these fantastic cymbals you brought in.
Thank you.
With just, it all comes together really good. So it's a really true hybrid setup.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can really hear, to me it's really fun to hear real drums mixed in with these amazing sounds. Can you play a little bit for me? Would you do a little fun demonstrating for me?
Sure.
Play me a couple of your favorite things?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Man, it's super inspiring to hear. Really cool.
Thank you.
What's cool about this, let's talk about how, these aren't drum triggers.
Right.
You're getting so many different sounds out of one drum.
Absolutely.
So can you maybe give a little explanation of why that is?
Yes, so with these sensors, it picks up, each sensor picks up to 10 zones. And, you have a sound in the center, the edge, it can be cross stick, the rim of each drum. And so for me, it's pulling as much different textures and colors from the sensors. And I think that separates, these sensors from actual triggers.
Right. Beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
Let's hear something else. I'm sorry, but how many times can you play the hoop of your kick drum and have it make that sound?
Right. Never. Only with sensory.
Yeah, that's because of this amazing system. Really cool. And super melodic right there, right? So I really dig how you kind of incorporate everything you have going on your kit with these beautiful sounds. It just kind of goes together in a really cool way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, this is going to be a non-sensory percussion question. Do you find this, being an open-handed player, it makes it sort of easy to kind of work around this setup? I mean, it seems like you really can flow with your left side so freely with being an open-handed drummer.
Definitely. I'm I feel like this kind of caters to me a little bit because I have the computer and the interface really close by to me, so I can cue different kits on the fly. And And again, with some of the textures, with different chords and different, you know, sound design, you know, I'm able to do that with my left hand and also my right hand. So it's, I don't know, it feels really natural.
Yeah.
And
It sounds
I think
natural, for sure.
it's cool. Thank you.
Very cool. Jonathan, let's go to the point of a beginner, a less seasoned player, and talk about how easy it is to set up this software, because you don't have to set up all 10 zones
Right.
and really get deep. You can just do the 4 basic zones and have a lot of fun right out, like immediately.
Yes.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So right when you register the software, it brings you to the setup, and you know, level 1 is training the drum up to 4 zones, and I'll recommend to start there. Again, all the kits that's in the library are amazing, and I'll just suggest, you know, explore the different sounds and see what you create. And as you grow with the instrument, then you can maybe go to level 2 of more zones, and level 3, and you know, maybe use all 10. But again, as mentioned, I mean, the 4 zones is already amazing as is, and gives you a lot of room to express yourself.
This product sort of tailors itself to the level of the drummer that's playing it. You don't have to be a super seasoned player. You could sit down as an intermediate, even beginner, and just start having fun and being creative right away. So can you expound on that a little bit?
Absolutely. With the software, it really allows your imagination to go, and I think it doesn't really matter the level, as we said. I think it's just about the intent, and you can play 4 quarter notes on a drum, and it can really have so much meaning and expression. For instance, I just picked this kit here, and I'm gonna play 4 quarter notes. And that alone can give you so much inspiration to take that sound and take that idea and do something with it. And with that being said, I think it really allows rhythm to spearhead harmony.
Sure.
And a lot of times that's kind of like the other way around of you know, not to get too theoretical, but with harmony and rhythm. But being a drummer, you kind of get to dictate harmony in a rhythmic lens. So, for instance, I'll go between these sounds and just play them really basic, and then try to expound upon it and see where it goes.
Okay.
And so now we're talking about melody, and we're talking about you know, song design and orchestration and all these things. So to me, this product and this software is really making a drummer a musician.
Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. And you could go in there and tweak the notes you're playing as well, right?
Yes.
You're not just stuck with the notes you hear. You could adjust the scale and all those kinds of things.
Absolutely.
Inside the box to
Yeah.
fit whatever song you're playing, or
Correct.
the key of the song and all those kinds of things.
Correct.
Another thing I find that's really cool about this software, and it was really easy to do, is all the great effects that are in there as well, and how the effects are tied to velocity and how you hit the drum. And you can have delay kind of come in and out just by the way you hit it, and same with verb and things. I mean, really fun sounds.
Yeah.
You're not just. It opens up a whole world, and it took me, as a newbie, it took me 5 minutes to come up with and do. It was really easy to program.
Yeah, and it kind of allows you to lose yourself a little bit, but yet become a thinker. And for me, I always try to play with some level of intention. And, you know, with all these different features of delay and reverb, it really brings a reaction out of you to say, okay, wait a minute, let me not just drum for, you know, chops here. Let me, you know, drum for music and for intention and for melody and to potentially, you know, create a story.
Yeah. So Jonathan, I have played this a little bit and studied it a little bit and got into it a little bit, but it'd be really cool to sit behind your setup here and just to see if I could make it sound like anything. Could you set me up with whatever kit you recommend? And
Sure.
I don't know what you're going to pick, and let me just see what comes up.
Let's
little
do it.
experiment here.
Let's do it, yeah.
Let's go for it. All right, this is going to be super fun. Jonathan picked Melody Pattern Garden for me to try out. And I haven't touched it yet at all, so let's just see what happens.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And just hearing those notes and then all these other beautiful sounds you have going along with it too. And then really the snare drum, the sound of the snare drum underneath it all too is super inspiring with all the melodic stuff happening around. That was really good. How about one more?
For sure.
All right, Jonathan picked one more for me, Universe 25. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Super cool, man. I could really see this in a setup. I mean, as in a live setting for sure.
Yeah.
A nice sax player, some Rhodes and stuff. Maybe some acoustic bass with all this going on underneath. Man, you could have
Or it could be solo.
Well, of course, that definitely. This is easily, you can easily set this in a solo setting for sure. I think just the options are just totally wide open.
Sure.
Yeah,
absolutely. Man. I love it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Jonathan, thank you so much for hanging out with me today, first off, and showing us this great Evans Hybrid sensory percussion gear. It's really cool and super inspiring to hear. If any of you out there have any questions at all about this great new product from Evans and Sensory Percussion, make sure you call your Sweetwater sales engineer. They'll get you exactly what you need and can answer your questions. And just thank you again, man. And would you be so kind as to play us out with something?
Sure.
All right.